Hello, listeners. This is episode 41 of the Double Cross Anime podcast. And as it's been 12 or 13 episodes since our last season preview, we're due for another one. So we've got
Yep.
10 shows here for you, 9 of which are new this season, one of which is returning
Mhm.
from our coverage of last season, Run with the Wind.
Yep.
And we're going to, rank them 1 to 10 like we normally do in the 4 series with the fewest points or the most votes, however you want to think of it. The 4 that we're most excited about collectively
Mhm.
are going to move into our regular coverage starting next week. So, Mario, I think you've got the list of the shows that we're going to do. Do we just want to go through them one by one, or do you want to say all 10? How are we going to do this?
We're gonna do one by one, but I want to know what your general feeling about this season so far. First,
That's a great question. Are you talking about these ten
no,
shows
no.
overall, or the entire season overall?
I'm talking about on these shows that you have to watch in this season overall.
You mean not just these 10, right? Like some
Not
of the
not
other
just
ones?
yeah, not just these 10.
Right, because we're both doing first impressions for the blog that we write for as well. Personally, my feeling is that this season I witnessed some premieres that were so bad that I will not be doing trashy first impressions anymore. Like, I lost my ability to kind of make fun of really bad anime and get some pleasure out of it, and instead it just like there were a couple specifically girly Air Force and there was one other one.
Dimension
Oh,
High School.
Circlet
Oh,
Princess
all right.
that like crushed my spirit. So don't watch either of those if you can hear my voice right now, unless you love stuff that's terrible and you feel like you might get some like a kick out of it. I don't know. How about you?
All right.
What are you thinking about this season?
I think that there is a clear cut between the good ones and the bad one decisions. So for the bad one, there are a lot of CGs and like entire CG shows, which are really like badly animation. I
I
think
thought
that
revisions. Are you talking about revisions?
revision was one of them.
I thought that
Um,
looked like okay.
it
You didn't
it
like it?
it, rem- it reminded me of a change few
Oh, see,
years ago, and
I liked the first season of Ajin.
the animation was just so clunky to me.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And I also talking about Dimensional High School. Um,
That I actually thought was funny. How
oh my god,
bad that was.
that show was so bad. It was really really bad. Like the story is non-existent. The acting was bad, and the animation itself was just ugly.
Yeah, I'm tempted to say that that show is not even anime. I mean, it begins in the live action segment, and the anime part is like another world, kind of within the. I mean, it occurs parallel to what's going on in in real life, but it's kind of a place that the real characters go to and return from.
Yep.
It hardly, yeah, it was definitely bad, but it made me laugh.
And you haven't seen Vitu-san. I just watched it. That bad as well.
Oh, the virtual YouTuber thing? Yeah,
That
of course that's going to be, terrible.
And we also got like two shows with the entire CG on our tent. One of them is Kemurikusha, and the other one
Ah,
is Kotobuki, which unfortunately doesn't air right now. So we will get to watch it like on the next days, and we'll decide for ourselves if it will be worthy enough for the top four.
right. So we're doing Rising of the Shield Hero in its place,
Yep, that's
so
right.
that we can like get our thoughts out about the big the water cooler anime of the season, I guess.
Hmm.
The one everyone's talking about for
Yep,
whatever, for better or worse.
that's right. But for the 10 show that we picked, I'm gladly to say that I would say that it was like the top 10 show that I watched this season so far as well. So good pick for us.
Interesting. Interesting. I
Well,
I don't quite agree,
all
but
right,
I think I do for the most part. Though the show that I put at the very bottom is not one of the
all right.
10 best shows I've seen this season, but most
Yep.
of the others are.
I would put the comedy of like of quintesses of like five siblings and a boy
Right.
will be in if I have another choice. But like apart from that, I think we do have like a pretty good teen show now.
You're talking about Gotobu no Hanayome.
I think so. I think that was the name.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see that,
Yep.
but
Yep,
you know,
that's the one.
if you liked it, then that's cool.
All right. So let's get to the 10 shows that we're gonna cover right now. Start. We're gonna do it in the alphabetical order. So the first one will be Boogie Pop Phantom.
Okay. So
The
do we
new-
want to talk about it first, then do the rankings, or do the rankings first, then talk about it? I forget. How do we usually do it?
Oh, so we usually do talk about it first, and then we do the ranking.
Okay. Cool. So that sounds good to me.
Yep.
So I know you're thinking about blogging this on a weekly basis. So what did you think about the first episode?
I think that it's intriguing. It's had like on these, like on these um how to say, it's have like all the thing that they planted. But the problem with that is that they have like no real story on in the first episodes. They have like no climax, no development, no whatsoever. So we
Yeah, it's
know
just a bunch of conversations.
Yeah, so we know that something was happening, but we don't know what was happening, and it resolved before we know it.
Well, we do know what was happening because there are a couple like quick cuts to the girl who's like strung up on the wires,
Right.
and you can see her silhouette against like a twilight colored sky, and
Yep.
like her head falls off, and there's the other bits of like kind of violence that just flashed across the screen really briefly. So it's true that there's no like clear story, I suppose, but
Yep.
we do know that something sinister is going on.
That's right.
And we know that Boogie Pop and the main character like to talk about it a lot on the roof.
That's right. And I think that if this were like the introduction episodes, that it does a pretty bad job, because it keeps you intriguing, but it doesn't like make you want to watch it more. About.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of those thoughts, because I don't want to see any more, despite this series receiving a decent amount of hype,
Yep.
which is kind of crazy to me because the original anime, which only, it's like original material, it doesn't come from the light novels. The
Right.
original was very, I don't know, like very moody and kind of muddy looking and atmospheric and strange. So
Yep.
I was surprised, based on, its reputation as something that's kind of dense and hard to unpack, that this one was receiving so much attention.
Mhm.
And it's a shame that it may have squandered that, whatever hype it had built for itself by being so, I don't know, kind of disconnected and a little bit dull.
Yeah. Well,
So I definitely don't want to watch anymore. But yeah, I was kind of intrigued by it, I guess.
yeah. So I was up to this show right now. So I'm up to episode 3, and I would say like episode 3 close up like the first book, the first act of the show. So I think that the first 3 episodes was the event of the first 3 episodes is the beginning of the 2000 anime version.
What? I know the first 3 episodes of this new adaptation are supposed to be the first novel. How does
Yep.
it tie into the adaptation? I thought that was like original material.
So remember like the beginning of the 2000 anime.
No,
There was
I don't really remember it at all.
it started with like some of the earth shattering event, and that event was like the climax of this act.
Okay.
So you got all the
I don't
connections.
remember what that was, but
Yep.
all right, that's
So
okay. That's good, I guess.
yeah. So like if you want to see like the real Boogie Pop Phantom, how like the true DNA of that, watch this second episode, because it have like a whole lot more plots coming, and it was also like they put that they put that like out of time, out of sequence. So like you might not get everything on the first try. Like I watch it like second times, and until like second time I know what was going on. Before that, it was like like completely in the dark.
Yeah. I wonder what motivated them to make that decision. I know that in the original light novel, it's told from like 5 different perspectives. There are 5 different narrators. Um, but I wonder why. I wonder if the reputation that the original series from 20 years ago, like if the fact that it was so, I don't know, kind of complex or complicated, however you want to label it. I wonder if they felt pressure to adapt the light novels in a similar way,
Yeah,
like with some information missing, so that you're constantly asking questions, or if that was a demand from the author of the light novels, or what. I just wonder how, what
I
motivated this decision.
I just think that it's like the toll of the line novel itself. So it is supposed to be like a piece in the puzzle, and then you need to like piece it all together. And until like we have like the full picture, should we know that, like what's everything, like everything fall into neat place. Like
Right,
before that though, everything just like a smuggle.
right.
But to say that, oh, I think we need to talk about the original line novel as well, because it. I think many people consider this to be like one of the very first line novels,
Yeah,
and it was released I think back in like 1995, 1996.
that's a long time ago.
Yeah, well, that's right. So yeah, I do understand why it had the reputation it has right now, and yep, the I for this version though, I don't think it does a good job
Well,
to.
you haven't read the light novel, have you?
Well, I mean, based on the reception alone.
Yeah,
Like,
some people are not very happy with it.
no, yep.
How about you?
So
Are you happy with it?
I'm so right. I'm still intrigued by that. So because of the intriguity that I'm willing to clock that every week, just to like just to dissect what been happening. It's
How happy? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So it will be rewarding enough for me. Just do that.
Okay. How happy are you with it out of 10? With
All
one
right.
being the best.
All right. Would one being the best? You say?
Yeah. Like
Uh.
where did you rank it? Is what I'm
Oh. So
asking.
what? Yeah. So what? I rank it as 7th out of 10.
Okay. I did 8th.
All right. So we get the total of 15.
Yeah. Oh, are you writing it down? I actually did not. I wasn't prepared for that.
That was good. That was good. Yep. All right. S-
What's
So
next?
let's get to the next show, which is Dodoro.
Dororo. Yes.
Dodoro. All right.
Dororo with
It,
2 R's.
all right. Dororo.
Dororo.
All right.
Gotta
So
say it with that Japanese accent, man. I worked so hard on it.
uh, so it's in uh, the adaptation from the god of manga, Osamu Tezuka.
Yeah, that's what they call them.
Yep.
Did you feel as though this episode was particularly godly?
Not that much, but I feel like many of his, like his favorite team is there, right? And even like the character design.
Oh, sure. Yeah, his characters all look, they all have like kind of the same face.
Yep. They look distinctive enough.
Yeah, and that carries over despite this being like 50 years after
Mm-hmm.
the original television series,
All right, so you
which I
tell.
actually watched. I watched the first episode of the 1969 series.
Wow, right. All right, so what do you think about these episodes?
Well, I mean, the reason that I downloaded the older one was because I wasn't quite happy with this one.
All right, tell me more about that.
You remember Megalobox from last season? How it like downscaled and re-upscaled
Yep.
the picture as a way of trying to capture that older look
Hmm.
of cell animated
Yep.
um,
Yep.
production. This like when Megalobox first did that, after like the first 1, 2, 3 episodes, I was like, wow, this is cool. This is really giving it a different vibe and a different feel. And as that series went on, I kind of lost appreciation for that technique because I thought the series designs were pretty strong and they could have just leaned on that instead of going the extra mile. But when I watched this show, it made me like long for the downscaling from Megalobox because
Hey.
this didn't look nearly as it didn't capture the time period the way that it wanted to, at least not in my eyes. Like, because not only is this based on a property that's 50 years old, it's also set hundreds of years in the past.
Hmm.
And it, to me, the backgrounds, apart from the one scene where at the river,
Hmm.
where there's kind of like that rice paper background on the sky,
Yep.
and all the the reeds that are sticking up out of the river kind of look like they're pressed onto the page, and you get just the impression of like an actual leaf, let's say, that was dipped in ink or something and then put on the page. I like that, but a lot of the other backgrounds just looked really drab, and I was like deeply disappointed
Hmm.
with a lot of the visual choices here.
All right.
So
So the
not
so
really
the
happy.
the design is one of them. You say
What do you mean designs, like character designs?
no, the act design. So like yeah, the background design, the character design, the all like the whole.
I thought the character design was fine. It
Yep.
looked like a reasonable updating of the original designs, but the backgrounds, like, they were constantly like tearing at my eyes. Maybe tearing is the wrong word, but they were kind of like like grabbing my eyes in the wrong way. I was distracted by them.
All right. I don't mind those that much, and for me the story itself is like simple enough, but moral complex is enough for me to enjoy. So like we get like OG introduction of all the main characters. We have like the very good reason why we care about the main character now, and we see like the main character and the boy get together and maybe become a team later on. So like everything is clear, like the goal set was clear. I'm actually quite enjoy this show a bit.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can say with confidence that it's clear, at least like in relation to the show we just talked about before this one.
Yep.
It certainly seems to have like, the setup is there for an epic tale of revenge or
Revenge.
adventure,
Mhm.
whatever you like. Yeah, it does seem to be a revenge tale because what's his face? What's his name? Hyakimaru.
Yep.
That's the baby's name, which we get at the very end because the traveling mask maker,
Mhm.
I guess,
Yep.
he says that name out loud. And when I watched the 1969 version, it was a little bit clearer who that guy was and what his relationship to Hyakimaru was. So I think we're probably going to get a little bit of that backstory next week, if I had to guess.
Yep.
But yeah, it's probably going to be a revenge tale. Hyakimaru getting revenge on his father.
Yep.
And in this episode, there are 12 demons that he sacrifices his son's like limbs and internal organs and stuff.
Mhm.
But in the original, there are 48. So we're getting a
Phew.
condensed version of the story here, I guess.
Yeah. Wow, 40 days. Imagine
Yeah.
that. I think that's one of the reason why the manga itself like haven't finished yet.
Well, don't say yet. I mean, it's never going to finish.
Yeah.
Tezuka's dead.
Yep, right. Yep. All right. So how will you rank this out of 10?
Oh, I was gonna like
Oh, yep. So
I was gonna complain about it more.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just one thing in particular.
Yep.
I already complained about the background, so I won't do that anymore. I said that I said I thought the designs were okay, but I thought some of the character animation was really lacking.
All right.
The fight at the end against the river monster, I thought that was reasonably reasonably animated and pretty well choreographed, especially for a modern series. Like when he dips down through the bridge and is slicing at the poles that are holding it up. I thought that was pretty cool looking. I don't think it totally pulled it off, but some of the more action oriented moments looked pretty good. But there were moments of like character animation in some non-action scenes that were just abysmal. When you think about do you remember the scene where the mother, like the baby is taken away from the mother and she holds out her arms to try to like take it back?
Yeah.
It's, if you rewatch that scene, it's just pitiful. Like it made me sad to see such an emotional gesture of a mother like desperately trying to like reclaim her child, which is about to be put to death, to see it neglected so horribly. It just looks like it was a complete afterthought. The director was probably pressed for time, and he was like, "Yeah, fuck it. This is fine. This bit of in between animation from some idiot is fine." And it saddened me to see that sort of thing was happening, and it also happened in quite a few scenes with the midwife, the older woman.
Yep.
Everything like involving her character just looked like garbage.
All right.
So this should be a big ticket series for this season. It's based on a classic manga, and it's a big revenge story, and there's lots of action set pieces, or at least the potential for them. And it didn't quite do it for me.
All right. I think abysmal is like a right word to say, because the character itself, Hiaki Mashu, when he was born, he was really abysmal.
Yeah, that was a scary looking thing that they dreamed up to put on screen.
Yeah. If I don't mind all those things that you say, like I don't even notice it until you just said it then. But if I have like one complaint to this show, and I'm quite happy with that so far, was that I think some of the they try a bit too much force on the emotional sometimes. So like remember the few first scenes when the father stabbed the monk.
Yeah.
And like before the monks die, he have like a whole conversation, the whole dialogue about how he's like starting to lose his faith.
Right.
And I was like, oh my god, that was too much.
Yeah, that actually didn't happen in the 1969 version. He didn't even kill the monk.
Oh, right.
It's just the father enters the temple and prays to the demons, and it's all like very, very at a slow pace. Like he walks in slowly, as though the weight of what he's about to do is kind of pressing on him. It's a lot better, actually. I would rather keep watching the 1969 version than this one.
All right.
To be completely honest.
All right. So,
I mean, not that that's something that we're gonna do, but
yeah. Do you remember? Do you know that the very first few scenes remind me of the show?
Which show the first few scenes reminded you of? What are the first few scenes? How does it open exactly?
So like
it's the mother trying to give birth to the child, right? That's the very beginning.
And he very frustrated that he go to the shrine. And
what does it remind you of? I'm drawing a blank.
Rose of Versailles.
Oh yeah, that does happen in Rose of Versailles, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
and then he's so happy when Oscar is born a boy.
Yeah.
Or no, wait, Oscar's a girl.
Yeah, as Oscar born a girl, but he was so happy that she was born that he determined that this is the boy.
Right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, his happiness with his child being born and his determination for it to be a man was so convincing that I just temporarily forgot his or her gender.
Yep. All right. So yeah. So what score would you rate for the show?
I put it 4th.
Is it? With all the complaint, you put it 4th.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. And
Yeah,
I
I thought the production was kind of
uh,
bad, but I do think that it might be like a decent watch on a week to week basis, just because there's going to be sword fights and stuff.
well, I
Plus, everything else was terrible.
all right. I thought you would put it at night. So we will know that like on the five on the 5 to 10 pick of from Whooper will be like, oh, he's complaining. Um, I I like it a lot. I like the role a lot, and I put it 4 out of 10 as
Okay,
well.
nice.
So we got a total score of 8.
Yeah,
Oh my god, you surprised me there.
I mean, I there are more things that I dislike than there are that I like. Nevertheless, it's better than a lot of the other shows we had to watch.
All right. So let's get to some of the lesser shows now, shall we?
Well,
Then
is a lesser show next up, like alphabetically?
I'm not really sure. Depend on how you think about it. The next show will be Dokyo Nin Wahiza, the
Right, right,
the boy and his cat.
right.
So
I thought this show was cute.
I think this is one of the healing show of the season.
Yeah,
I like how the first episode pan out. I like how like it tell the story from the writer's side of view, and then it's tell the story from the cat's point of view, and
yep,
how the two just like trying to connect to each other, basically trying to live in harmony with each other, curious about
yeah,
each other as well. Um, One thing that I do afraid of that I don't know if it premise can keep it fresh for like in few more episodes.
yeah. This show reminds me of. Do you remember how to raise a mummy or how to train a mummy or
Yep,
something from
yep, yep,
last
yep,
year?
yep, yep.
I also thought that show had kind of a cute first episode.
That's right.
Uh, and then I watched maybe 2 or 3 more episodes, and I was like, yeah, I'm finished with this. I'm over this.
Hmm.
It ran out,
Yep.
Um, but I'm a little bit more optimistic about this one because I like cats. I think cats are better, are nicer than mummies as
Yeah.
far as subjects for an animated series go.
All
And
right.
also, there's both characters have tragic pasts.
Hmm.
The novelist, the very first scene is a flashback to him in his teenage years at his parents' funeral because they died in, what was it, a car crash or something cliched.
I think I can cross it.
Yeah. And somebody attempts to talk to him at the funeral and he kind of just blows him off, which is how he's turned out as an adult. He is just giving everybody the cold shoulder, essentially, and he wants to talk to people and involve them in his life as little as possible. And the cat as well, its brothers and sisters, I think, were killed by,
Hungriness.
what? Well, no, we saw like the feathers near their corpses. They were killed. They were murdered
Oh, right.
by, I think, crows or
Yep.
vultures or something. Are there vultures in Japan? I don't know.
I had no idea.
But we
Oh,
saw the birds. We saw. It's true that the cats were all hungry and they were all like living day to day trying to
yeah.
get food. But the feathers on the ground indicate to me that they were killed. So the
Maybe
cat
maybe by pigeons. Why
by
not?
pigeons, like an army of pigeons.
Because why
Maybe.
not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might make it more of a comedy than a healing show.
All
But
right. Yeah. Go on.
I
Go on.
think that the fact that both characters have that kind of a tragic background might give the show a little bit more weight, give it something a little bit more substantial to fall back on
Mhm.
when the cuteness isn't quite working.
Mhm.
That's my hope anyway.
Or my hope is that it keep expanding its characters cast. So like we will get more of the characters on the next few episodes, and I think it might redeem the show. Redeem might be the bad words, but I just think for now I think just this one is just like one trick pony show. It the district very well, but I don't know how it can expand from that.
Yeah. Did you notice that there was a cat living, or no, I don't know about living, but there was a cat underneath his porch?
No, I
That brown
don't.
cat?
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
There's another cat at the very least, and then
Mm-hmm.
we have a couple other characters, his friend and his editor, and then in the preview for the next episode there was a woman, because of course there's got to be like a love interest, or at
Mm.
least somebody to bounce off the main
Yep.
character a little bit. So yeah, of course the cast will expand, but I mean you're right. The concern is like, will it actually give the show legs or not?
Yep. You said like this show reminded you of that mummy show.
Yeah.
For me, it reminded me of Barakamon. Uh,
Oh well, Barakamon is in a different league, I think.
yeah, yeah. I agree from that as well. The main characters himself reminded me a lot of that characters.
Yeah, they even kind of look similar. I guess that's true.
Right. I feel this one though. This writer, he's a bit annoying, more annoying than the others. I found many of his, his brushing off a bit annoying.
Hmm.
I feel the way that he shut off his is it producers, um, is a bit
Yeah,
annoying as well.
editor, I
Editors,
think.
yeah, editors,
Producer might work.
yeah. It's a bit annoying as well, but yeah. Um, for the main premise, it showed me.
Yeah, as all the stuff between the guy and the cat, yeah, that was great.
Yep.
Everything else around it, obviously not as charming, not as heartwarming, I suppose.
Yeah,
And there's some doubt as to whether or not this is going to be able to make it like 12 episodes before we pass out from boredom.
that's right. So yeah, how would you rate this out?
I put it fifth.
I put it sixth.
Okay.
All right, so we got a total point of 11.
Hmm.
So at this moment, it's like a second favorite show now.
Out of 3. Yep.
All right, let's get to the next one, which is the one that just aired few hours ago, Kaguya-sama.
Okay. This is the one that I don't have any notes for.
This is the one that I just watched basically also like just 2 or 3 hours ago. So I don't have note on that either. But yeah, we can. How you feel about this episode in general?
I really liked it.
Right.
I thought that it was funny.
Yep.
I thought that it was. I mean, I mostly just thought that it was funny. Honestly,
Alright.
I like both main characters a lot, which is a relief, because with a show like this one where they're they're romantic partners, but then also they're kind of locked in this war of who's gonna confess their love first. You have to like both, so that when one is quote unquote winning and the other is
Yep.
quote unquote losing, you don't lose interest based on who's the victor and who's being defeated.
Right.
So the fact that I like both characters, I mean, I like both their designs, I like both their voices, and their personalities. That's I mean, both characters are home runs for me. So
All right.
character is probably the thing I value most about a show.
Mhm.
So that means I like Kaguya-sama quite a bit.
All right. Good for
How about
you. I'm still right with the show. I'm not that sure about the premise or either the character themselves. I like the characters enough. I don't. They just not my favorite that I gonna I gonna feel like that I want to see them like every single week.
Right.
So
I do.
yeah, I feel like some of these I haven't read the manga yet, by the way, but I feel like some of these the beat it lost a bit its power in the anime version. Like
I think it actually gained. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't read the manga, so it's not really fair of me to say. But I really appreciated most of the. It felt kind of shafty to me.
all right, Shafty.
Yeah, like the series, like the studio Shaft.
All right, well,
It like frequently diverted itself from what was going on in that room.
Yep.
In the student council room, and it would move to having a bunch of like really bold pattern backgrounds with the characters making exaggerated expressions in front of them.
yep,
and just like it would occasionally take on like a manic tone to it, like the characters are hanging on the edge of a cliff by only like 2 fingers or something, and the music would get really intense and exaggerated. The Shaft series do that sort of thing quite a
Yeah.
bit.
I'm surprised that you will like compare to Sharp. Like I think I'm the only person here who like who would compare any show to Sharp. Thanks for
Well,
that.
I mean, it stood out to me as being particularly like a Shaft series. I mean, like for example, I watched a few episodes of Nisekoi recently to try
Yep.
it, and I wasn't really
Yep.
that into it. But this felt a little bit like Nisekoi, except better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's not gonna be like the comedy is funny,
Yep.
and the romance is not gonna be annoying. Like if you watch Nisekoi, you can tell that the romance is gonna take forever to go anywhere.
Yep.
But in this
It,
show, the romance is not the point.
it doesn't go anywhere either.
What doesn't?
The romance
In this show?
in this show.
Yeah, but yeah, like I just said, the romance is not it's not the goal. As an audience member, as a viewer, the characters getting together is not my number one wish.
Yep.
I just want to see them continue to try to outwit each other while being in love with each other
Yep.
and being kind of dumb kids about it.
All right. One thing that I just feel like it lost somewhere on the pacing is that I feel some of the monologues a bit dragging. That's just me though, I think. And I do like one of the quote if they gonna do that more. So remember like the steampunk at the very
Yes.
at the first segment. Uh, I remember that they already pointed out that was steampunk like few moments ago, before like all this
Yeah.
happening. So I like that. I like that attention to details. And
You know what show used to do that all the time was Oran. I don't know how to say it. Oran
high school.
High School Host Club would
All
point
right.
out with an arrow something that was going to be important later on in the scene, and then eventually it would come around back to it. That's like ripped straight from that
Yeah.
show, I think.
So yeah, I would love if this show does that more. For all these monologue, hopefully I will get warming up to that later on. For now though, I think it's alright. I still like the shows. I still like the two casts, but it doesn't really warm me much.
Okay. I will say, I for the most part, I enjoyed the extended kind of rambling monologues.
Mhm.
Though the third segment of the 3 got a little bit wordy for me, and I think there may have been it may be the translation that I was, that accompanied my video file, the subs that
Is
weren't
it,
quite up to par.
is that the one with the bento, the one with the food?
No, I think is it? I honestly
No,
can't
no.
remember. I like the bento one for the most part. I just remember some of the dialogue near the end, like let's say the last 4 or 5 minutes,
All right.
being a little clunky. Not like not stretching on for too long, but I don't know, just the word choice. I really don't think that it was the show's fault at all. I do suspect that the subs aren't quite as good as they could be. But I always have that suspicion, like in the back of my mind, because
Yep.
I've seen, like hundreds and hundreds of anime, but none of them ever has had a perfect translation, because it's a
Yeah.
translation. Like something is always going to be lost, some
Right.
small detail.
Yeah, I agree. One of the reason why we need to learn the original language.
Yeah, we gotta pick up moon runes, man. Someday.
Some days. And I also really like the fact that despite how much the two characters, like work their mind up in order to outwit the others, it's the other girl who serve as like a catalyst. Like every single
Yeah.
thing that she does, like change the whole situation greatly.
Yeah,
I,
I actually had not really made that connection or thought to explain it that way. That's a good point.
I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that not only does she function as a catalyst for some of their sparring sessions, I suppose,
Mhm.
she also is an obstacle at some points.
Yep.
So, and I think that might be representative of the fact that later she's going to get involved in some sort of love triangle.
All right. Oh,
I mean, I
and
can't help but think that with three characters in a room, that is at least somewhat about romance.
yep,
That's 3 points in a triangle. You know where I'm going with this.
right. And one more thing that I do like about the chemistries is that sometimes when they do only my games, they know exactly what each other thinks, but sometimes they would like misinterpret it, what the others think about. Like for the mental segments, the boy completely misinterpret what Kaguya was thinking of,
Yeah. Well,
and
if he knew everything, it would be Death Note.
yeah, right, and
It's already
I
kind of
like
Death
that.
Note with romance.
Right, that's right. So yep, I
What'd you rank it?
hopefully like the next few in the next few episodes I'm gonna be warming up more with that with the show.
Well,
I
if you decide to watch it.
it I will watch it. I rank it 8 out of 10.
Okay, I put it second.
Second.
Hmm.
All right. So for now it's 10, and for now it's the second favorite show out of 4.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it doesn't really say too much.
Yep. The next one gonna be the carryover from last seasons. So Run with the Wind.
Okay. I kind of scrolled down straight to Kamarakusa, but yeah, I guess Kazega is Run with the Wind. Yeah. Hello.
All right. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I was waiting for you. Yep. So
Okay.
we got to the episode 12 of Run with the Wind, where two other members of the team um make the time.
Right. Who was it? It was
It was
Dude, I'm
Shido.
forgetting their names.
It was Shido and the lawyer boys. What's his
Yeah.
name?
What is his name? Is it Yuki or what
Yuki.
is
Yep.
it?
Yuki.
It is
Yep.
Yuki. Okay.
Shindo and Yuki.
It's been a month since I watched an episode of this, and my memory has faded a bit.
All right, and you put it like second on your top 10 anime of the year. Come on.
Yeah, but you know that my memory for this stuff is like just terrible. It's notoriously bad.
Bad with names.
No, not just with names, but whatever. That's why I take notes.
All right.
Yeah, it's true that two new team members get qualifying times, but I've always found that the running, the
Yep.
track and field segments in this show work better as like closing moments coming at the end of an episode, because then they can function as a payoff for
Yep.
earlier events.
Yep.
When
that's
they
right.
when they happen at the start, like particularly as a cold open, and then they cut straight into the theme song,
Mhm.
it doesn't really do it for me as much, because I'm more interested in the characters themselves than I am their performance, their athletic performance.
Yep.
So it's good for both of the guys who qualified, but that scene didn't really impress me very much.
All right, because the whole bunch of this episode is about this boy going to a training camp.
Right, but all of the running scenes at the training camp are in the context of like they're on some new, they're in a new location, they're on some new adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that stuff I liked a little bit more.
Yep. I
Although a lot of it was concerned with Kakadu and the red-haired evil villain guy.
Yeah, well, he just he just over the top right now. He just become really unlikable. People
Yeah,
love to
I mean,
hate him.
yeah, I guess so. I wish that he were a little more I don't know.
Subtlety.
Well, I don't know about subtle, because I think he fills his role as an antagonist. Like Kakadu is somebody who likes to keep to himself mostly and keep his emotions sealed away. So the fact that this guy needles him like so aggressively is kind of appropriate, given that Kakadu is his foil, or the character who's set against him in the story. I don't know what I wish about him. I don't know. I don't know if I can really put it into words.
Yeah. All I do like that Kakeru finally like snap. So he actually like express everything out. So like let it all out.
He
So
does.
he does. So he come to the guys and he actually like a bit of like strangling him.
He grabs him by the collar, and then it
Yeah.
cuts to
Well.
black, and then you hear a punching sound,
Yep.
and that's the
Yep.
cliffhanger.
Yep. So yeah, so he actually let his frustration out. So I like it. I like the way that like he finally lose it because
Okay.
I prefer him that way more than like keep everything to himself, like just bottle up inside and say some mean stuff. Remember, like he did say some mean stuff to the prince earlier
Yes.
episodes. So yeah, I would prefer him this way more than that.
I liked it when he and Prince were butting heads,
All
like
right.
verbally. I was interested in that because it's contrary to his nature. Whereas him, getting angry and potentially hitting this guy again,
Mhm.
because that's what happened in the past. We know from, like, weeks and weeks ago when the guy said, "Are you going to hit me again?"
Mhm.
This is just him acting in a way that he has before. So that's actually a little bit less attention grabbing for me.
Yeah, so well, I think we will know about those conflict. We will see some of the flashback in the next episodes.
Yeah, I hope so.
One thing that I do like from this episodes is the shot of established shot. It's not established shot. It the shot of like everyone in the team running together in a vast lake just
Yeah,
behind them, just like yeah, just next to them. I really like that shot. Those shot.
yeah, those are nice. The backgrounds in the show tend to look pretty good,
It's
as long as it's not just a field of grass, because then it looks kind of. I've always had a problem with the way that grass looks in
in
this
anime.
series.
All right.
Well, in anime, yeah, I think that's probably fair to say, but in this series in particular, it bugs me. I mean, I could put tons of screenshots up right now if I felt like going through the series and doing a bunch of work, but I don't. So
All right.
I'll just complain instead.
Yep. Especially I think back from a month break, this show look better than ever.
Huh. Okay, I want to.
Yep.
Since you said that, I want to ask you about one thing in particular.
All
Did
right.
you notice this week there being like an abundance of white speed lines, like on the sides of the screen and on the top and bottom of the screen? When a character's running really fast and they put those white lines that are like rushing past to indicate movement, and the screen jostles a little bit.
All right. They have a lot of that in this episode. That's what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking if you noticed
No,
that
I
or
don't notice that. No.
okay, because I noticed it more than ever,
All right.
and I mean, that's probably because I was just away from it for a month, so it's possible it did that a lot in the past, and now I'm picking up on it more.
Mm.
Or I mean, I kind of feel as though they just leaned on it more here.
Mm.
Um, but if you're saying that you didn't pick up on it, then maybe it's something that's been going on the whole time. I don't know.
Well, I'm not usually the guy who pick some of this up. I think you are more like more pay more attention to that than me.
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for you know production decisions that I can criticize from the
Yeah.
comfort of my own room.
Right. The looking of the crash.
What did you rank this episode?
All right, so I rank this episode. Let's see, fifth out of 10.
Okay, I put it sixth.
So that would be 11. Ah,
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, I thought this episode was okay. I'm gonna keep watching the show. Of course, it was one of my favorites of last year. But
Yep.
part of my reason to rank it a little bit lower than you might have expected was that I do think it would be nice to discuss some new stuff.
All right.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. We will see on that. So we will get to the next one, which is the uh, Kemurikusha.
Right. So I think you liked the show a bit more than I did. We both gave our impressions of this
That's
on the
right.
site.
That's right.
Um, so you should probably start off.
All right. I think story wise, this show isn't that good. Story wise and character wise, even like we have like many stock characters, and I don't mind them actually. But the moment where like the human boy come up, I think it's start to go into more of the conventional stories, where like the boy will be like a breath of fresh air. Like he will provide many like refreshing decisions. He will change this guy. One of the things that I really like about this show is the world building itself. So like there is no exposition. We pick up things as the screen goes on, and it hints on a more of the apocalyptic world, which I always like. So yeah, I say about the concept, and I say about the look of the show, despite it not like the greatest things ever. I like it. It's have its own personality. How about you?
Uh, what? How would you describe the personality of the look of the show?
Well, it looked like nothing else you see in anime except for Criminal Friends, which was from the same directors.
So you would say like unique?
Unique, yes,
Okay, I would
and
say amateurish.
all right, because that is a good word for that as well. But it's still like it's still you look at it, that it come from Tatsuki's, so
I mean, to me, that's a black mark.
it's not really a black man for me. So yeah,
Okay.
I think
You you don't
that's where we differ. Yeah.
do you remember the scene near the beginning? It opens with just the two girls, one of the maid quintuplets or quadruplets, whatever. They
Yep.
all wear like the maid outfits.
Hmm.
Um, who she dies later, and then the other girl with like the ponytail that's folded up and clipped to her head. I don't know their names.
All right.
And they're in the ship, and there's like that little pool of water that they're both really excited about, and one of them dips their hand into the pool, and it just looks like her hand is phasing through a concrete floor. There is no attempt being made, like none whatsoever. It's not even a failure to depict something. It's just a literal lack of even the most basic attempt to make it look like water is in her hand or her hand is moving through a liquid substance. They didn't even try. Like this show reminds me of something that a freshman at film school would create
All right.
and get an F on.
All right. So, that comparison might be valid, because that it was back in 2012, a winning entry for like best independent somethings productions.
Yeah, I know this was based on something that Tatsuki did like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, something.
Yep. So yes, I don't mind that at all.
Okay, well, last year there was a show that I was kind of pulling for that I thought had like a little bit of an independent look to it, which was I'm already forgetting what it was called. It was that show about war with the started with an A.
I were.
I
Huh.
completely forget what it's gonna bug me. I have to look it up right now.
That's that. What that show is about.
It's about the invasion, the Mongol invasion.
Oh yeah. Angumos.
Yeah. Yes. That show. I mean, maybe your appreciation of Kamarikusa is on the same level as my,
I think so. Yeah.
the
Well,
eagerness that I had for that show to succeed. But as it went on, as I watched that show, and I did finish it, I just realized that it just looks like a pile of crap.
well,
And so does this.
well, I still enjoy that. Like I think I'm the person who will enjoy that. I watched the whole season of Criminal Friends, and I don't really mind the look anymore. So
Right.
I'm about to enjoy this.
Right.
It
Well, that's good.
compared to Criminal Friends though, it have a dull, a more like dark, gritty, and dull look. But hopefully, though, like in the next few episode, the screen might be like brightened more. It's a bit
Yeah,
too
that
dark
was
for me now.
yeah, that was an issue that I had with this show too. Is that the like you said, it does seem to be set in some sort of apocalyptic,
Mhm.
world or future, whatever. But I mean, that's cool and all, but when it literally seems to be night all the time, and also you have no context for. They mentioned that it's called Island One, the place where they're currently at, indicating that there are more islands.
Mm.
And that we'll get some visitors from other islands, or maybe we'll travel to other islands as we follow the series.
Mhm.
But I like all of that is really for nothing if you can't make out what's going on, and the show seems to be set in the middle of nowhere. Like not the middle of nowhere as in on an island, and you can clearly see, the foliage and the sand and the water. Like the middle of nowhere, like they might as well be walking around in a black void.
Uh,
It
which
it
is
it
which
robs the show of some personality.
all right, which might be the show's like thematic choice. I mean like it might be what really happened. So we don't know about that. So to contract you, one thing that I like about this show is that we don't know what we're gonna get. We,
Don't you need some reason to come back to it? Doesn't there need to be something that brings you back to it apart from the fact that it looks vaguely cute and kind of
I'm
silly? I don't know.
I still intrigued by the by the world building itself. So yes, I will come back for that. I still like the characters. I still like the main female lead. I don't like the boy though, and I don't
Yeah,
like all the mess of quintetless. So I think I'm gonna enjoy that.
when you said that the boy like provided a bit of fresh air, I wanted to say he provided a a breath of toxic fumes for me. Like when he showed up and started acting like, "Oh my God, everything is sugoi, everything is utsukushi." I was like,
Uh,
"Oh my,
you
please kill me."
he literally say like like you want to kill me. I'd be so sad about that, but I guess if that's gonna be the case, then do it.
Yeah, just get it over with. Oh my God. Yeah, what did you rate this show?
All right, I drank it third. Out of
Third,
10.
okay. I put it last.
Oh my god, I hate you. So
Yeah, no Kamarikusa for you, dude.
so we got a total of 13. All right, the next shows would be Mob Psycho 100.
Oh my God.
Season
Just say the rating first.
All right, first,
Hell yeah.
it's like
Hopefully this is better than Irozuku.
oh. All right, Irozuku. Let's just forget about Irozuku now. It's
Well, it
like
was the last show that we both put at the top of the heap, like potential wise. But Mob Psycho is a little bit more of a sure bet, I would say.
it's like one of the best episode I have seen in a while. It just blow everything up. It just
Yeah.
so good. It just oh my god. It have everything. It have like all the comedies, all the dramas. It have like it introduced all the characters. So I even think like if people who haven't watched the first episodes, the first season, they gonna watch and still understand what's been going on in new this new premiere. And
Probably, yeah.
I would say so. And what else? The animation is just got sent. It's have basically everything. It's have the humor. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
it was
everything
really,
about this show. All right, your
Yeah.
turn.
The main thing that I want to talk about is the scene where he reassembles Emmy's novel.
Yep. All right.
That her friends rip up and are mocking her, thinking that they're just having a laugh because it was something that she did to humiliate and embarrass Mob.
Yep.
when it when in reality we can tell from her demeanor. And this is the great thing about good stories. I mean, forget anime. Goods, you can tell that she actually does care about the story that she was writing because of her demeanor, and not like some internal monologue or a narrator or like a block of text giving us information about the character that like flashes, that like moves in from the side of the screen, or something stupid that, you know, that would be included at the, I don't know, just because they think we're idiots. Instead, you get the sense that she cares about it because you see her look uncomfortable as her friends are doing it, and you hear like the acting, the voice actress, you hear like the tone, her pitch is a little bit unsteady, and it's even the time of day in which the scene is set, like the everything kind of being bathed in the setting sun. It's the perfect time of day to set that scene, because like her friends ripping up her work is kind of like the sun going down on her dream.
Yep.
It's just, and then he puts it all back together, because Mob, the person who's like supposed to be less human than everyone else, is actually capable of picking up on that really human desire that she has to write. So when it's him of all characters who figures that out and then reveals a part of himself that he keeps secret in order to put it back together, that's just really beautiful on a thematic level. And then the animation like suited it perfectly. Oh god, I got chills. I had chills during that scene.
All right, I'm tearing up right now. So
It was really, really awesome, and like you mentioned earlier, the humor is also great. So you get the best of both worlds with this series.
Yep.
Just 10 out of 10 shit.
The music on that scene was very good as well.
Yeah. The same really, really sad, like mournful violins, like from the previous season. I recognized the same tune, or maybe am I thinking of the wrong track?
I don't know, man, but that's a good tune for sure.
You know which one I'm talking about? It goes like da na 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 na.
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm probably just off key.
Alright.
Yeah, the music is good. I can still call to mind a lot of the, you know, the, what's the word when there's a piece of music that fits a character?
Yep.
What is that called?
When the music fits the characters.
Yeah, when there's a piece of music that's composed specifically for a character. It's not their theme, it's their
Character themes, is that? No.
Well, that's a good term for it, but there's a word specifically I was looking for, and I can't think of it. I'm just failing to come up with all kinds of stuff right now.
Score? No.
No. I'll look it up later and I'll tell you.
All right. I also like the fact that, you know, that girl asked him out, and we just see some. At first, we see that it was some kind of, you know, like some how to put this.
It was a bet.
Yeah, well, we should learn that it was a bet, but like before that, we just thought to ourselves that it was like some strange turns of event.
I thought it was the newspaper girl in disguise.
I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh my god, he tanked on his speech, and there was someone really love it, you know. So I was like, oh my god, that was so it just a strange turn of event, how off everything was, but I enjoy it until we learned that it was bad, and until we learned that, you know, like everyone just makes a mob like just a laughing stock, and we see like that girl develop into like something else, like something like someone deeper, you know, like she know all that, she know about like how mob just trying to be nice to her, and all this kind of stuff. Like it was so good. One is a very good writer. He's more of a writer than a like the manga artist for me. Like his drawing is like simple and normal, but his writing is really good.
Yeah, that's the thing. I actually want to draw a parallel between Mob Psycho in its original form and something like Kamuri Kusa. Both of them look kind of, you know, sloppy, and at you can say at the very least that neither of them are particularly realistic. Like they don't evoke a sense of, I don't know, like identification between you and the character, because they don't look anything like us. They don't move like us. They don't inhabit
Mm-hmm.
a world like we do
Yep.
in the least. But
Mm-hmm.
but Mob Psycho, in its characters are totally human,
Yep.
and that's the I think it like in general that's my preference. But I can understand, you know, I'm sure that some people watch anime and they like seek out the stuff that is completely. I would say it's dumb, but I don't know. It fulfills a particular fantasy, or it's it just is hitting whatever spot the viewer wants to be scratched.
You know what, Whooper? That's
What?
gonna be the show that we're gonna talk later, so we can save
Oh,
it for
really?
later. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yep.
I don't know. I just started to ramble, but basically my point is that I think the characters in Mob Psycho, like as beautiful as it looks, I think the characters are the best part.
Yep. And
That's my opinion anyway.
and I wasn't really that like enthusiastic toward the first season. So I thought it was good. I thought the animation was really amazing. I wasn't really like that much love of the first season. It's still like within my top 6 or something on that year. But this uh this first episode of the new season is just a knock out of the park. It just knocked everything out. It's just
Yeah.
flawless.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a hard bar to clear.
That's right. Yep.
But if there's any studio that is like positioned to continue to create work like this, it would
It-
probably be Bones. I mean, KyoAni is the one other series that I think is capable of going toe to toe with them.
Mhm.
But they're absent this season, I think. So
Yep.
Mob Psycho to the rescue.
All right. You want us to get to the other show?
Sure.
All right. That show is Tate no Yusha.
All right. Rising of the
Shield-
Shield Hero, baby.
Shield Hero. I
Yeah.
I
How'd you feel about the most controversial series of the winter?
all right. I'm surprised that it's got people riled up for that. Like for me personally, I don't think these false rapes accusations and this slavery is that much of an issue, but people make a big deal of that. I'm quite honestly surprised.
Huh. Interesting take from the man who makes sure to include stuff about feminism
Oh
in all of his like anime roundups and stuff. Like you're always on the lookout for
yeah,
good like well written and well realized female characters. We got
Yeah.
Rising of the Shield Hero here. This is prime like material for you to tear into.
nah, I'm not always. I never that offensive, not aggressive towards all this kind of stuff. I recognize this good one, but I never, like going out my way to, to mix all of my ideas into like the anime shows.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I was kind of offended by it.
All right.
I mean,
Surprise.
I wasn't really offended personally,
Mhm.
because I'm a guy, and I'm generally somebody who keeps his I mean, I don't have very strong political opinions, but those that I do hold pretty strongly, I tend to keep separate from. I mean, especially when you're watching anime, which is like
Right.
geared
Entertaining.
at. Well, it's geared specifically for the most part at like young men.
Right. Yep.
Especially like nerdy ones, So,
Mhm.
but Rising of the Shield Hero, I thought was the main reason I was offended is that it is so dumb. I was kind of offended as like a human being, or somebody who watches a lot of television, let's say,
Yep.
that they thought that this would be like, I don't know, something that I might enjoy. Because it's so badly put together. The way that like the girl kind of takes him for a ride, and then all of a sudden she betrays him, and like everyone hates him, and it's just like, who is watching this and thinking to themselves, yeah, she's gonna get what she deserves? Who could possibly be that small-minded?
Uh, all right. For me, though, I think let let's just say that I like a characters who have like who suffer, who have to go through shit in order to like to raise up from that. So I'm alright with that. The thing that I don't really take particularly well is that like every in order to do that, they make like every other characters like an asshole. Like every
Oh, you
single
mean like
one
the
of
other
them,
guys?
the other guys, like the girl as well, everyone,
Yeah.
basically. I don't know why they have to mean to the main characters. I don't know why they have to act it that way. I don't know why they have to be that one dimensional. In
Well,
order
it's
to make the point.
I think it's because the author is like, the worldview from which a story like this springs is, he thinks that he is oppressed somehow, and that like the good looking, the good looking athletic guys of the world are all like looking down on him, which is why the other three dudes are kind of like, acting cold towards him and like vaguely insulting him. He thinks that like, women are whores, and
Oh,
they act all clingy and flirty. They steal your money. And dude, did you catch that the country that they're in is supposedly a matriarchy? Did you catch that bit of dialogue?
no, I don't.
They say explicitly in this show that they're living in a matriarchy, which is why like, when she invites him up to her room,
Yep.
she's like, oh, nobody would dare say no because this is a matriarchy and you just go along with what the women want.
Huh.
This
Right.
despite the fact that there's a king in the throne room, and that all the heroes are men, and that all three shopkeepers that we meet are dudes. Somehow it's still a matriarchy. Like, I can just hear the author of this saying, gamers, rise up. We have to take back our place in society. It's so insulting and stupid.
Uh,
Oh.
all right. Yeah. This main dude, he's a otaku himself. So I think he might represent the gamers, the otakus, all these like loose. I don't know, man.
The losers of the world.
Loser inferiors species
Ugh.
of human nature. I don't know, man. But yeah, that is to say, I'm not really offended by all of that. Bad writing, yes. One note characters, yet, yes. Um,
This is really just like a video game.
it is a video. Yep, right.
They,
Hope,
they literally have screens pop up in front of them with telling them what to do next, and like giving them directions about, and
oh,
you can't equip these items because the screen popped up saying that you
yeah. Oh my god, that bugged me a lot. Yes.
Oh my god.
Um, hopefully though, when he have some, like when he gains some slaves, they are like well written. I
Yeah, bring
doubt
on the
so.
slaves, dude.
I really doubt it, man. But I don't know, man. It could be because
Ugh.
like everything that the show does so far get into like the point, because it has one point it's trying to put across, and it does that. It does that very boldly, very
What, that
like
that
the
everybody is against the shield hero and he's
yeah,
got
yep,
a
yeah.
like yeah.
He got scolded by everything. He got no money. He got like no reputation. He have like
Got
no
no girlfriend.
no girl around him. He got nothing. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
the point of this first episode. So I can still think that this show can redeem itself in the next few episodes. Uh,
Damn.
re- If only they can, like make a good character development to all these characters again.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm good with that. I know why you're laughing, man. I try to be serious, okay? I try to defend the shows, okay?
You've got more integrity than I do. Do you remember the beginning where he's doing that anime thing where he's explaining like who he is? Like, I'm just a normal otaku living the otaku dream. But it's not like I'm one of those shut-ins or anything.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm normal.
Yep. I remember that.
As soon as he said that, I was like, oh boy, we're in for a treat.
Oh
god. So this was a double-length episode.
Oh yes.
Despite I don't know, all the issues that I have with how I don't know, simplistic, like how much low-hanging fruit is plucked from the tree of this series. I do think it passed the 45 minutes relatively well.
Yep.
The story was structured so that we were getting the next beat, the next important bit of information, the next character introduction, at a reasonable clip. So I wouldn't say that this show is terribly produced or directed. I don't think it's particularly well produced or directed, but
it was well written. Is that what you made?
No, definitely not. I think it's a decent product, but it is certainly not art.
Oh yeah. Well, when you compare this show to the like of Mob Psycho, nah, it's not.
Yeah, and I mean, I was the one who suggested that we replace Kotobuki with this series, and it wasn't just so that I could dump on it. I thought because this was by Kinema Citrus that it might look pretty decent, but I really don't think it does. Like some of the background. Do you remember the scene where they first go outside like the walls of the city and they're out in that field where they fight the orange blobs?
Yeah,
there's that shot where the camera kind of spins around the main duo because at this point the girl is still with him, and we're supposed to get this sense that like the world is so vast and beautiful, but everything just looks smeared, like it looked pitiful.
Right.
But I do think there were some very nice looking backgrounds in some spots, but not that scene.
All right. So I know what you would rate. You read.
Well, I already put
10?
Kimurakusa last. Yeah.
Yep. So you put that 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's correct.
Even though you was offended by that, you still put that like above my favorite show.
Well, it's not your favorite. You put it third.
My third favorite show.
I mean, I said that I was offended. I don't know if I made it totally clear, but I was not like morally offended. I mean, there's a slight bit of that. I do understand how people could be offended by this because the entire crux of this like practically hour-long premiere is that girl bad, shield hero good. So yeah, I can understand how people might get their panties in a twist about this, but the main reason I was offended was that it was like simpering, like the show was begging like teenage males to be like, yeah, go shield hero, fight and win.
Yeah.
That was the more offensive thing to me.
Right. I think I get what you mean. Yes.
So what did you rank it?
I didn't say that. I rank it 9 out of 10 as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's come to a total 18. And I would safely say that this will be the last show out of 10.
Yeah, probably so.
All right, so we get to the next one then, which is
we gotta move. We're already at an hour and 20 minutes almost.
Yeah, we have like two shows left, so
right.
I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah, we still haven't seen your number 2 pick, so what's next?
All right, the next one is the original show from Gohan's Whis.
Right.
Yes. All right. So you told me before after you watch Wiz that you think this is unlike anything you have ever seen.
Yes, I did. Good memory.
All right. Can you say that in more specific?
Yes, I can. I feel like this anime is literally decades ahead of its time.
Ahead of his
Uh,
time. All right.
yes, it is ahead of its time. I think that I think there is a future in which all anime in like 50 years looks like this.
Huh.
After like computer involvement in animation, and
Yep.
even in our day-to-day lives, like when we like contacts that we put in with like digital overlays on them and stuff.
Hmm.
I think that it's possible that this might just be what entertainment looks like in 50 years with ridiculous color filters and gradients and like ridiculous patterned backgrounds being overlaid on top of stuff. I think there is a future in which that might happen, and whoever is at GoHands and is kind of slanting all their series, all their direction in this, like pushing everything to look like this. I think they have a vision of a world in which like this is reality. And watching Wiz, I was kind of convinced that like this person is like on a higher level than everybody else. Like he's looking into a future that the rest of us can't grasp.
All right.
And there was a part of me that was actually somewhat impressed by that.
All
So
right.
I would say that Wiz on the whole is like a noble failure. It's totally incomprehensible and pretty stupid, but the person behind it is like he's in a world that's different from the rest of us.
All right.
So I
Uh,
was kind of interested by that.
all right. I had 2 points to make after what you said. First, if that's gonna be the case, it's like in the future, 50 years from now, only most of the anime will look like that. Would you think that Gohans might be responsible for that? Would,
Uh, I don't
would,
know.
would you say that it's gonna be like influential in like say 30 years from now that people trying to like this is what the act look like and they gonna
No.
replicate everything from Gohan's style.
I don't think so. It's not as though I think Handshakers or Wiz or Gohan style in general will be like the catalyst that changes art or that changes like people's general idea of how things ought to look.
Yep.
I don't think that's gonna be the. I mean, it could. You know the album The Velvet Underground and Nico
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yep.
with the banana on it.
Yep.
There's a saying about that album that only 1,000 people bought it, but
Mhm.
all of them started a band.
Oh
Like
wow.
the album that nobody really cared about the
Mhm.
album when it came out, but it was so influential in the underground that it eventually bubbled up to the surface over the course of decades.
Yep.
So it's possible that Wiz is like a secret masterpiece.
Huh.
I really don't think it is, honestly. And of course, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but I do think that there is some conviction behind what I watched,
All right.
which was kind of intriguing.
There was a second point that I wanted to make, but I already lost it. Uh, all right, we can get to that later. Wherever it's get back to me. Um, how, all right. How do you? I don't know, man. How do you think about the story and the characters?
Oh, they make no sense. Um, the story. I mean, I don't really know if I understand what the story is because I haven't seen Handshakers, and this is like a stealth sequel to it.
Yep.
I understand that the main character really wants to be a DJ, and I understand that the main girl really wants the main guy to like her.
Yep.
That comes through very clearly. However, all the events of the episode don't really
Connect.
push either. Yeah, they don't push either of those agendas forward. Like, it's just a bunch of people in a city who are talking to each other about, oh yeah, handshakers and oh, dude, check out this video I found on YouTube. It's got Vaibusu Tokorubu. Do you remember the scene where the guy with the headband in the clothing store,
Yep.
he puts on the main character's track that he found online, and he says to the woman, "Oh, Vaibusu Tokorubu."
Oh my god! All right.
It was
You you seem
like
to really enjoy the show.
yeah, it made me laugh. It was totally ridiculous, and the scene at the very end, which should have been a moment that the show took to clarify itself,
Mhm.
was instead like a weird, incomprehensible mix of all the handshakers like simultaneously praising and threatening each other, which didn't really make any sense at all to me.
Right.
Um, so
All right. How would?
even the turntable scene near the end where he goes into the other world,
Yep.
and it's like a music video for 3 minutes.
Yep.
That actually doesn't contribute anything to his character or his character arc, even though he wants to be a DJ. Like what he does during those 3 minutes doesn't push that goal forward. It doesn't establish anything about him other than that he is a DJ.
Yep.
It's just a music video. So, like, as far as any actual story goes, I wouldn't say there really is one, or at least not a clear one so far, which is obviously a problem.
Hmm.
So, that's not good.
How do you think about the music itself?
It was just one track repeated over and over with the little sample, get hype, doop, 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 doop. It was, I just remember the two words, get hype. And, I've got to feel it.
Oh Oh my god.
I mean, the thing about that track is that I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think it's really anything special.
Yeah.
But hearing it laid on top of these crazy visuals made it into like a bit of a meme for me.
All right.
So
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
All right. So what I talk about this show is that it more fall into the same line, same side with Kemuri Kusha. In that, like the visual, the aesthetic that the show goes to is really, like it's just one of the kind. It's just like you look at it, you know that it's from Gohan's, and that fact alone, on the character design as well, make me want to, like I know that I'm not gonna watch anything like that.
Right.
So that fact alone, that I think I will gonna watch this show till the end. But in like the really the quality level, I actually can see some of the like real effort put in. So unlike in many other shows where it's like everything is so lazy written, lazy produced, this one I think like the studio itself, they took like some proper care with that. It's just that their vision is so, like out, is so unlike anyone's, that
Yeah.
it become like a chain break. But I'm still get behind the show.
See,
So
I wouldn't say that it's. I agree with almost everything you just said. First of all,
yep.
yeah, I definitely think that it's so distinctive that it's like overwhelming.
Right.
But I don't think it's a train wreck. I think it's more like a bunch of train tracks laid over top of each other, and a train on all of them. So like imagine 50 train tracks that all converge in the middle, and all the trains are like barreling towards one another,
Yep.
but they all like just miss each other. Like the first one goes through, and then right as it goes through, the next one like barrels past, and they're all going at like 100 miles an hour.
Alright.
And it's like it's about to be a gigantic crash, but but somehow everyone is safe, and you can't believe what you've just seen. That's what I think Wiz is.
Alright. Because I think I make that statement with Handshaker a year ago, but Handshaker and maybe Wiz, because it's a Handshaker sequel. I think it's had very good chance to be bounced as a classic cult in the future.
Yeah, I do think that's a possibility. I mean, I really don't think there's that much this show doesn't have too many redeeming qualities. I don't think. I am not looking forward to watching any more of it. But it's something about it captured me for at least the 20 something moments that it was in front of me. Like, it didn't make me want to turn it off.
Yep.
You know, and that's getting to be harder and harder to do as I watch more and more stuff. So if that counts for anything, there you go.
All right. So what would you rate this show?
I put it 8th.
8. I think you put 8 on your Boogie Pop, right?
Oh, you're right. This is 7th.
So this is 7.
Excuse me. Yeah, I have it right above Boogie Pop.
All right. So I put it 10th.
Yeah.
So that's 17. The total spot. The total point.
Yes, we got it up there above Shield Hero. We did it.
All right. So let's get to the last show, which is Promised Neverland.
Yeah. So we can, by process of elimination,
you
scores
put it,
are...
So you put it 3rd and I put it 2nd, right?
That's right.
All right. So let's talk about the show itself.
Let's do it.
All right. Whooper.
Go ahead.
Because I have seen the manga before. I have read like the first act of the manga, so I know what is gonna happen. But so for you as a newcomer,
right.
how do you feel about this episode? Is that the thing in the end surprised you?
It definitely surprised me. Yes, the fact that they're aliens and they're living on a farm,
right?
And all that stuff, or not aliens, monsters, whatever.
Monsters. Yep.
Yeah, it surprised me. I went in blind. I didn't know what was going to happen. So yes, it surprised me. However,
all right.
I was not scared by it. I was not awed by it. I didn't particularly have any emotional reaction. I was like, huh, that's really weird.
All right.
That's pretty much what went through my head. So there you go.
All right. So how do you like it in general?
Well, I mean, I put it 3rd, so obviously I'm not adverse to seeing more of it, but I'm not really that interested. Like, for me, Mob and Kaguya are so far ahead of everything else. I mean, Mob is so far ahead of everything, and then Kaguya is, trailing behind by a good amount, but it's still way ahead of the Promised Neverland. I don't know. I don't really care about any of these kids. I feel as though I'm supposed to care about them because they're children, and it's like terrible that they're being raised to be fed to totally implausible monsters. I don't know. The entire premise of the show is just so divorced from reality that I find it hard to care about what's going on.
All right. For me though, I already like the 3 main characters. So like they have like all have different personalities. I think the production so far is really spot on. And this say a lot because I already expected I already expect much about this show because I had watched the manga, but
right.
It did exceed my expectation. So
good.
Yeah, so it's good. I like the music itself. I think all the score is really good, and I like the OP and ED as well. As far as I remember, don't really remember the EP right now, but the OP was good.
I remember the OP being kind of jazzy, but I don't remember a single bit from the score. And that's often the case for me, though.
Yeah, and I like the main premise that like these kids trying to get out of that cage, and they try to outsmart their mom, which is I think a very great obstacle that they need to overcome. So a very great premise for me, and a very high stake as well, because otherwise they're gonna be eaten by the monster.
No, the monsters don't eat them. In fact, there's a line of dialogue saying like, humans are a delicacy. This is too high class for us.
Oh yeah. But they're gonna
We
send
we just
to.
see one of them, sticking halfway out of a bag with her neck snapped or something.
Yeah. Oh, so they're gonna get killed, and then they're gonna send to these high class monster in order to be eaten. So yes.
Exactly. Yes. Only the high class
Yep.
monster alien things are permitted to dine on succulent human flesh.
Right. So
Uh,
yeah, I would say that I do not disappointed by these four episodes. I think this is one of the great one. Just losing a hair by the mostly perfect Mob Psycho 100 first episodes, and I think it have a very intriguing premise that like we could spend a season just following and talking about that.
yeah. I I agree. I mean, obviously not with the stuff that you said about it living up to the manga because I
Yep.
haven't read it. But the premise is certainly unique.
Mm.
It's I don't want to criticize the show too much. I do have a couple criticisms and complaints about it. I'm not going to bring them up or anything
You
because
can.
they're. Well, no, I mean the podcast is running long, and I don't want to. I am curious, I guess, about what's going to happen next, and I think that's the most important. That was the biggest job that
Mm.
this episode had, given the way it was structured and the gigantic reveal that it had. Its job is to hook you.
Right. Yep.
But that's the thing. Like I am. It's so strange. The twist is so out of left field that I couldn't help but be curious. But I'm not I'm not dying to know what happens next.
Mm.
I don't. If do they escape? Do they not? I don't really care.
Mm.
Would I like to know what happens next? Not really.
Mm.
Is there a lot of potential for it to be interesting and like thrilling? I think there is.
Yep.
So that at least is a success for me. But I don't think I really connected with the material here. It didn't click with me. And to get in to try to explain that, that wouldn't really be beneficial to anybody. I don't think.
All right.
I think it was it was fine. It looked all right, and the story could go in a lot of different directions. So I think that's a positive.
All right.
So we're definitely going to be picking this up then because of the score
Yep.
it got.
All right. So I got on the show that we're gonna cover the next week. So
I got Kaguya in there, baby.
that basically your top four choice. Just to
Oh,
say.
is it?
Yep. So we have Promise Neverland. Oh, so the first one will be Mob Psycho 100. Most of us agree to be the first one. And then we have Promise Neverland. And then we have Dodoro. Both of us put at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, we got Kaguya-sama, which is
yes.
10. Yep. So the two
We
show
did it.
two show at 11 point, which is Run with the Wind, and
Dokunin.
yeah, Dokunin gonna be out, but that's
Yeah.
alright. Yep.
Kaguya-sama will hopefully you come around on it. If not, it is
Yeah.
a comedy, so it offers maybe a little bit less to talk about than the other series. So if after a few weeks you're still not feeling it, then we'll make a change. But I like the first episode, so maybe it'll impress you in the future. I don't know.
Yep. Well, I'm definitely gonna follow it anyway. So yep.
Okay.
I'm pretty happy with the list, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I got my top 4 in the same as you did last season, I think.
Yep.
So or maybe the season before. I don't know.
All right. So that's
My
gonna
first time.
that's gonna be the top the 4 show that we're gonna cover in this seasons, plus Flower of Evils,
Yes.
and yep. So we're gonna try Kotobuki tomorrow to see if we're
that's
gonna
true.
knock that out.
That's true. That might end up replacing Kaguya-sama.
Yep, might.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I am sort of optimistic about it because director of Shirobako and all that.
Yep. All right. I guess that's the end of this podcast then.
Yep.
Thank you for listening, guys, and we'll see you next week with the new seasons.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.